Director Mike Flanagan's cinematic adaptation of Stephen King's The Life of Chuck presents a remarkable story about the meaning of life in the face of death. Specifically, the adaptation tells a tale in reverse chronological order about Charles Krantz, whose death inexplicably sparks the end of everything in the universe after spending 39 great years alive on Earth. Such a concept makes for one of the most unforgettable, thought-provoking, and critically acclaimed King stories yet. Even though Chuck's life is brief, and everyone else in the story dies with him, this film isn't a typical King horror story. The 2025 movie shines as a heartwarming tale that celebrates and validates life. With The Life of Chuck beginning in Act 3, the film's non-linear narrative elevates its story, emphasizes its existential themes, and burns its inspiring message into the viewer's minds. How The Life of Chuck's reverse chronology story impacts the movie. The Life of Chuck's non-linear narrative heightens the mystery and emotion of the story. By telling its story in reverse chronological order, The Life of Chuck hooks the audience in its first act with the mystery of its titular character. The movie's inciting incident features Chuck appearing on billboards, TV commercials, and even in people's windows as the world comes to an end. The confused supporting cast stands in for the audience as they witness the apocalypse, struggling to understand why it's happening and how Chuck is connected to it all. The film's opening act makes the viewer more intrigued to learn the truth, which is revealed later on when Miss Richards tells the young Chuck that his mind contains multitudes. The mystery is further revealed in the film's final twist, when the teenage Chuck enters the cupola and sees his future self dying in a hospital bed. Such a shocking scene wouldn't be as impactful if the story had been presented in chronological order. The Life of Chuck is focused on emotion, not Stephen King horror. The Life of Chuck teaches its audience to feel joy instead of fear. The Life of Chuck is a terrifying film, particularly with its depiction of the apocalypse. However, this King adaptation is more focused on making its audience feel hope instead of terror. While the way it explores death and the world's end as inevitable is indeed sad, the film also inspires its viewers to smile and cherish the short time they have left in this universe. This is illustrated by the people in Chuck's town, particularly Marty and Felicia, who discard their phones, abandon their careers, return home, and spend time with the people they love. Even Chuck does the same in the film's second act, when his brain tumor has manifested, as he drops his briefcase on his way to work and dances with Janice. Like everyone else in the apocalypse, Chuck uses his final days to enjoy life by being with others and doing what he always loved. The Life of Chuck's structure hammers home its existential themes. The Life of Chuck's ending reaffirms the value and beauty of life. Benjamin Pajak smiling as young Chuck in The Life of Chuck. Since The Life of Chuck presents the protagonist's death and simultaneous apocalypse early in the story, the film makes the happier moments in his life appear much more important to the audience. This non-linear storytelling helps emphasize the message that life is precious and wonderful, despite how brief or insignificant it may seem. The movie's message is reinforced by the final scene in the cupola, where Chuck catches up with the audience upon learning of his death at the age of 39. Even though the protagonist knew he would die at a young age, with his last lines, he reminds himself and the audience that he deserves to live and enjoy living. Overall, The Life of Chuck's breathtaking, philosophical story wouldn't have been as hard-hitting if it were told in chronological order. Not only does the order of storytelling make the film more intriguing, but it also makes the viewer more invested in Chuck's uplifting story by acknowledging his heartbreaking fate. However, the film shows that his death made his incredible life all the more meaningful, encouraging audiences to view their own lives in the same way and to cherish them as he did.